back to the SoCal Powerlifting podcast. Today, John is going to get us canceled, and this is the last episode. After we're going to be canceled after this. Okay, but John, before we get canceled, we probably have some people who aren't as familiar with you, so we'll do kind of the brief little intro. But we knew you first as a client, and then eventually kind of transitioned to coach. But how did you get into powerlifting in the first place?
For the bitches. No.
Okay.
Yeah. I was told powerlifting gets you all the bitches, yep. Not girls.
You're
yeah. Gotta start hot out the gate. Okay, I gotta get out of the way first. I got fat.
Okay.
2017. I remember very specifically just hating how I looked and felt. Tying my shoes was just the most stressful part of my day. Just having to bend over and just deal with all the extra mass. So, I was working out before, very on and off.
Okay.
I trained a little bit in college, and then I remembered beer was a thing.
Right.
And so I decided to do more drinking than training.
Right.
For sure.
Now you do 50-50.
Yeah. I found balance.
Right. Okay.
It's all about balance.
Yep.
And then, it was just very on and off. I don't even really count that as part of my training.
Yeah.
And then 2017, gained a bunch of weight. And then I was like, you know what, I need to, let's make a change here. So, signed up for 24 Hour Fitness. And then it stuck. Literally that following day, I started training. I had no idea what I was doing.
Yeah.
Just going from machine to machine. Just what does this do? And then, I don't know, it stuck. I think the reason why it stuck that time is because I actually started seeing, changes.
Right.
Oh, I'm not a fat piece of slob now.
Right.
Yeah. So that was why I kind of stuck. And then by then, the hooks were already in, so
nice.
I just kept training.
And how'd you get into powerlifting specifically?
I just kind of naturally only wanted to lift heavy.
Yeah.
The whole concept of doing curls and dual failures was kind of boring to me, Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And mostly it was just easier.
Yeah.
I only have to do 3 reps.
Yeah.
Sick,
Yeah.
But as I started to see more and more weight get on the bar, it just felt more rewarding to me.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And it was just an easier way for me to measure my success, you know? And so that's all I really cared about was lifting heavy.
Right.
And then I didn't even know what powerlifting was before I started training.
Yeah.
I was just doing the main big 3 lifts.
Yeah.
And then that was it. So, and then that's when I discovered powerlifting. I just started eating up a bunch of content, started following Alan Thrall and Jeff Nippard and all those guys. And then that's just kind of where I fell into. At the beginning, I was I'm a power builder, that's definitely
of course.
Yeah, want to look like a bodybuilder, even though I was I think I was 170 pounds at the time. I was super skinny, but so that's
power builders probably in top 3 gym pet peeves.
Yeah.
I definitely have said it in the past, so
right.
I don't think too much, but I think number 1 is got to be I just want to get toned. I don't want to get too bulky.
Yep.
That.
Yep.
I would never hit a client, but I get close.
Yeah. I just don't want to put a lot of mass on, but I want to deadlift 600 pounds.
Toning doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean anything, right? Tone means you have less fat and more muscle. That
right.
You gain muscle or lost fat. That's it.
No.
Your muscle doesn't just magically, it's like this and then now it's like this.
Right.
It doesn't work that way.
You mean I can't just be shredded automatically?
That's number 1. And number 2 is probably power building. But I think that's much more of a niche frustration because that's definitely we program with a lot of hypertrophy work, right? It's definitely much more power building style, regardless of goals, because we know the benefits of doing those extension movements.
Yeah.
So when someone's I want to power build, I'm cool, you were going to anyway.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's definitely more of a niche frustration.
Yeah. And I mean, generally speaking, everyone wants to look like they work out.
Right.
Most often than not. But so I think doing the bodybuilding style movements after definitely adds to it. But I mostly focus on that, and then I discovered you guys, and you actually took me in.
Did I sell you?
Yeah, you sold me.
I love you so much now, and then I'm sure I did then. I do not remember selling you. That was still 2.0, right?
No, it's here, 3.0.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. So I left a very lasting mark on you, apparently.
Yeah. Definitely.
You probably watching sucker.
No, you know what? I think I actually kind of do. Was that when was the office still back there, or were we in this office?
No, it was with that shoot up couch.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yep.
No, I set in the inquiry at 6 o'clock in the evening or something like that, and you like called me like 7.
Dude.
Yeah. And I was like, what a weirdo.
Well, because what are you doing? As soon as you're sending an inquiry, you're sending it to 3 other gyms.
Right.
The first one to call you wins.
Exactly.
You gotta be on. That's too funny.
Yeah. No, I just literally just Googled powerlifting gym.
And so you hadn't done meet or anything when you first joined?
No.
Okay.
I didn't. Even when I joined here, I didn't really think about competing at all. And then I just saw these freaks. I'm like, okay, I think I want to give it a shot.
Yeah.
I just never looked back.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's sweet.
Yeah.
And so then from there, like on our end, you were just like client psychopath who trained at like 4 a.m.
Those were good times.
I thought you were nuts for that.
Yeah.
But I always knew you like just trained hard, and as you and I often rant about, sometimes seeing people not train too hard, and that being one of our pet peeves. So as soon as I saw you train hard, it was like, all right, like this guy's the man. He's putting.
Well, that's what killed me at 24-hour fitness. Like it was so hard for me to like stay in the zone when I look to my left and see some grandpa like half repping, or look to my right and see some gym bro just like swinging their arm curls. I'm like, man, like, dude, I can't take anything seriously.
The commercial gym bullshit I forgot about until recently is just the things people will do with a 45-pound plate.
Yeah.
It's just anything. It's these or like plate curls and plate overhead extensions.
Yeah.
Again, like if you trained at the 24, I used to train that growing up. I did it. Okay, call me out.
Yeah.
I started there.
Right.
I've learned. I've grown. Don't cancel me for that. Cancel me for whatever John says.
We all make mistakes.
It's bad, but dude, it's the side bends, plate shrugs.
I've done side bends before.
I've done side bends.
Yeah. My obliques gonna jack, dude.
All right, this is my mini rant, dude. On the side bends, I'm gonna go stand on my soapbox for a sec. Your obliques don't do this; they rotate. So you're not even working your fucking obliques. You're working like your QL and all the muscles deep to your core, which, if anything, is just gonna push your sides out and make you look wider.
Look, all of your facts and knowledge don't matter here.
That's
all right. Why are you wasting your time with your scientific?
I did side bends
bullshit.
But I love, like, dude, 45-pound plate.
Yep.
I'm never gonna get too strong for this 45-pound plate. I'll just keep going. Or like shrugs. I'm like, anyone who's like actually stronger will need to shrug more than 45 pounds in like a couple months.
I definitely did above the knee rack pulls for a little while.
Hell yeah. Above the knee rack pulls.
400 pounds easy.
Yep. Yep. Dude,
those are good times.
We should start a federation that does above the knee rack pulls.
Yeah.
I think I could be a world champion.
Yeah,
above
above the knee rack pulls.
If you give me the first like 2 inch from the deadlift, I think there's no way I can't lift.
Yeah. Below like 6 inches above depth. Pin squats. You know, just no range of motion at all training. That would be really the best thing for us, I think.
I mean, we have a couple members here that I think would excel there.
I mean, they're natural at it. You know, they don't even need the assistance.
Yeah. Dude, commercial gym, there's a lot of bullshit.
Yeah.
But then coming here, and you kind of jumped in kind of head first and training hard, got after it, and kind of got on a program. And you actually, I do remember approaching me about kind of what programming resources and stuff.
Yeah.
Just kind of showed that.
Definitely. Yeah. After a while, I was like, well, because I quit selling cars, and I was like, well, what the hell do I actually want to do?
Yeah.
You know, like, what do I really like? And I realized training and lifting is the only thing I really like.
Yeah.
It's like, what if I could help other people like it, you know? And so that's when I started to kind of think of the idea of like coaching, and I approached you like, what the hell am I doing?
But I think that's the right way to go about it. Like, there was no ego of like, oh, I know what to do. Obviously, people are gonna. It was like, how do I grow my knowledge? Right?
Yeah.
And then when the opportunity came up, it was like, oh, John's trying to get better at this. Like that effort. Obviously, he's the next in line. Like that makes perfect sense, right? And I think that idea of always trying to grow and learn more instead of just like, I know enough. I can start training people.
Well, I did, you know.
Yes, of course.
So, but I had to like mask it a little bit. I had to play coy.
Obviously. Well, there's this balance, right? I think like a lot of our coaches, you and I have talked about a lot of our newer coaches have this imposter syndrome of like, at what point am I? We're talking about there. At what point am I knowledgeable enough to coach someone else? And there's this balance of like, if you know more than that person, you know enough to coach. You don't have to know everything. You just have to know more than the people you're coaching.
Yeah.
At the same time, I think a lot of people get very complacent and just like, well, I know more than someone who doesn't work out, so if I just keep coaching people who don't work out, I'm good. Yeah. It's like, but you probably can get the better results. You gotta keep learning. Yeah. And I remember really kind of hungry for more knowledge.
Right, exactly. Yeah, I remember at the beginning I had a couple pretty strong clients and I kind of panicked. I was like, I'm gonna sabotage these people. Whatever they think they can do, I hope I can like live up to it, you know, like.
Dude, I remember that the first time a client hits a number that you haven't hit yet, it's like, oh shit. Okay. It's still the same programming principles, but for that split second, it's panic.
gotta sabotage it now. You know what, man? You shifted forward a little bit. We gotta start with the bar.
We're going back singles every week.
Yeah.
Get him hurt, and then I'll be the strongest in the gym.
Yeah. But you're so right. It's just like, it's literally the same thing. Like, it's just making tweaks here and there. You're just communicating with the client, just figuring out how they're feeling. So, yeah, it took me a little while to get past that hump, but I just needed more experience. That's all I'm down to. And even now, like, admittedly, I'm still pretty new, so still have a lot to learn. Still have, there's so many great resources out there I've been trying to utilize more. So, yeah, things have been cool.
Yeah, man. I came from a personal training background, right? So in terms of like training people, I felt comfortable, but like keeping someone for a meet, dealing with people who are actually athletes and strong instead of like, a 40-year-old mom once a week to do bullshit exercise at 24-hour fitness, like it was definitely kind of a wake-up call for me and intimidating at first. But I think I've always been thankful for SoCal having kind of the whole staff around me because I had so many people that were kind of just, okay, next step, cool, this is how you're going to handle this. And having that full structure around me instead of trying to figure out my own was super helpful.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I was never afraid to ask anyone, like, does this look okay? Like, am I, like, and definitely having that support has been huge in terms of just my own growth. But also just being willing to kind of take risks, like, I hope this works, and then you see that it does, and like, okay, I think I might know what I'm doing here.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, what was that transition of like going from selling cars to coaching powerlifting? because car salesman is one of the maybe not oldest professions, but like been around for a while, very established industry.
Right.
Everyone knows someone who sold cars at some point. You tell someone you're a powerlifting coach, they look at you like, that's not a real job.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you need to sleep on my couch?
Yeah, every time I tell people I'm a powerlifting coach, they're like, cool.
It's that
like, you don't know at all what at all that is.
No.
This is the first time you've even heard of powerlifting.
And if they don't know it, then there's no way that you're making a living.
Yeah.
Right? So it's
right, exactly. Selling cars was horrible. I wanted to just set that place on fire every time I stepped through the door.
Yeah.
And I did it for way too long. But it's with car sales, it's naturally an antagonistic situation, right?
Yeah.
They want to save money, you want to make money. And so there's this constant inherent battle. Even if the client's like super cool, like I had plenty of clients that just wanted to get in and out, square deal. There was always just a little bit of back and forth here.
Yeah.
Whereas here we're offering a very unique service that like not many places offer.
Right.
And it's a net positive, right? Because with car business, maybe not always a net positive for the client, you know. Can't say I've always been the most honest salesperson when I was in the business. But here, I genuinely, like, I'm a product of this place. Like, I know that you can get stronger. I know that you can form a great community here, make a good batch of friends, and just, like, have an awesome time here. So I actually believe in it. Like, I didn't give a shit about Toyotas. Like, it's got 4 wheels and an engine. What else do you want, you know? Whereas here, it's just like, I truly believe, only because I lived it, you know? Yeah. So when people come to us, for me, it's like a no-brainer. It's like, why would you say no? Like, this place is awesome. Like, get your ass in here. You know?
Man. I mean, I remember, like, when Zach initially approached me about handling some of the sales, like, I genuinely thought I hated sales because at 24-hour fitness, like, I think I've talked about this on previous podcasts, but basically they kind of tell you, like, we're trying to sort people into two bins, basically, right? So like our general pipeline, someone comes in and it's like, hey, we're a coaching-based facility, and the goal is just get them on coaching. That is the business,
right? Exactly. And
with 24-hour fitness, is either you force someone into like the lifer who's in classes, personal training, a million things, or the person who feels so uncomfortable they're not there. So you're like actively trying to make people feel uncomfortable, so they keep paying and don't show up.
That's a great feeling.
So good. Dude, it feels like shit. And then
like a clingy ex.
It's the worst. And then the people that you are coaching, like, our goal here, right, is if someone starts with maybe 4 sessions a month or whatever it is, I think 3 is now our highest membership, right? But 3 sessions a month, the goal is that they're doing less and less in person with you because they become more self-sufficient. 24-hour fitness, there's no coaching membership. They're not a program that they're following. It's only sessions. And so the goal is to make them feel like fucking idiots. Like, that's my manager would never say it. I got it, right? Like, I was doing that bullshit of, I didn't go full like upside down Bosu ball.
Let's go.
But a lot of trainers did, and I got a little bit more convoluted with my training than I would like to admit, because the goal is to make people feel insufficient so that they always think they need you. And I think here it's the exact opposite, right? Like the goal of a coach is someone who can make you feel comfortable and confident in your lifts, who
100%.
can take the mental capacity out of you having to design your own program and can force you to do things you don't like to do, right? And it literally is a coach, not a trainer.
Yeah.
Right? Like, what is the benefit of an NFL coach? He's not teaching the quarterback how to throw the ball.
Right, exactly.
The guy who's been playing football his life knows how to throw the ball.
Yeah.
It's putting him in the position to succeed.
Exactly.
And that's more of where we come in. That's where I really see that.
Yeah. And that's one of the biggest objections. No, actually, not one of the biggest, but it is an objection I hear where, you know, I reach out to a prospect and like, well, I'm looking for more like one-on-one coaching. And I'm like, but like it's so much better if you just do the programming. Like, I don't know, like they want someone to hold their hand the whole way. And,
I think it's a grass is always greener thing too. Like, one of the things I kind of want to get into with you is like what those common objections are, kind of what we think is legit, and kind of talk about what stops people from actually achieving their goals.
Yeah.
Right? But I think a lot of it is, this isn't the right situation, the right setup for me.
Yeah.
And people who hear that we aren't with you every single session think they want that.
Exactly.
When I was doing that, man, it's like, you know, you're paying $100 a session for someone to count you by session 1, 2, 3.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
It's so much money so quick, and then they fall off because they don't want to keep spending that money.
Mm-hmm. And
then it's like, well, I was used to having that, now I don't have any motivation, and it just goes downhill so fast.
Yeah. I mean, really the biggest thing is just how foreign powerlifting is to some people when they come in here.
Yeah.
I don't know if they fully expect to see it. It's kind of like maybe a little intimidating. Kind of like it's a hardcore thing, like environment or whatever. Especially when you walk in here, you see Ken like deadlifting 700 pounds. He's this giant.
If it's his like earliest warm up.
Yeah, exactly that. He's going up from there.
Yeah.
So I have to imagine some people maybe a lot of people looking at it like, hell yeah, like this is where I want to be, because that's how I would be. It's like, fuck yeah, like sign me up.
Yeah.
I think other people are like, this is a little extreme. I feel like I'm in a dungeon right now.
Definitely.
You know.
Definitely.
And so I think that might give some people some cold feet.
Yeah, but I mean, like you were kind of starting your journey, right, of going through 24-hour fitness, hopping from machine to machine, then eventually finding the barbell.
Yeah.
To have that process expedited, like imagine how much stronger you'd be, how much
exactly.
more secure your
If I could go back and
do
do it over again, I would 100%. Like if I went back to being fat and sloppy, I would 100%.
Yeah.
Immediately sign up with a coach.
I coached myself through my first probably 3-4 meets, and I look back and I'm just don't scroll back too far on my Instagram, but there's a video of the bar dumping over my head.
Let's
my
go.
First meet. I didn't know what I was doing. I literally didn't have a coach. I had my buddy in the back chalking at my back and told him like, just put chalk on there, and he chalked it way too low.
Yeah.
And the bar rolled off my neck, like so bad.
Hell yeah.
I can't blame him either. Like I definitely was a dumbass like 18, 19-year-old who was like just nose deep in bottle of money, and went down so fast there was no way I was coming back up.
You kind of have to get that out of your system.
Yeah.
I definitely had moments when I was in the gym thinking like I was squatting like 275.
Yeah.
Getting way too amped up into 24-hour fitness. And just like yelling and shouting. So I think we all kind of go through that a little bit.
Dude, every mom that saw me just hitting nose torque like hard in 24 minutes was positive it was coke.
Yeah.
What are you doing? It's not cocaine. It's fine. It's better.
But dude, cocaine will make me lose my mind. This will make me lose my mind and get a PR.
Exactly.
So
exactly.
Yeah. No, 100%.
Yeah. It's helping.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Shut the hell up! Now spot me!
The manager was always very concerned, and the squat rack was like right next to the manager's front desk. And every time I'm just screaming, like nose deep in bottle of ammonia.
We gotta bring that Alex back.
So,
I want to see that again.
That Alex comes out on meet day.
Yeah.
He comes out on meet day and maybe for like seconds, but it's controlled now. The other thing too, like, dude, I was an angrier lifter and would maintain that anger throughout because I had more anger to give. My life sucked. My life's good now. I like all you guys. I like my job. I hated my job. I was making no money.
Yeah.
Was like stressed about how I was going to afford Chipotle after the gym so I could eat. My life's a lot better now. It's a lot easier. There's not as much anger there. So I gotta save the little bit I have and direct it for that top set.
It's that last little nugget of childhood trauma.
Yeah,
just
exactly.
save that in your back pocket.
Oh yeah, my little league coach not picking me comes up right before I go to that school.
It's like a PR song. If you play it too much, it loses its impact, right? So you got those little nuggets of just horrible memories. You gotta save them.
No, that's perfect. Remember that fucking little league coach didn't pick me? Then his son came up and asked me to write him a training program. I'm the alpha now. Fuck him. You know?
You're about to hit a PR right now. Get it, baby.
With me just looking like an asshole, but it's fine. That's what goes through my brain, dude.
And you definitely have no grudges.
What's No, definitely not. I'm totally mentally healthy.
Yeah.
And
you don't sit and stare at the ceiling at night before you go to bed and just constantly.
No, it's okay. I had therapy earlier today. I'm good now. So they said that time I'm good. No worries. What's like? All right, give me. What's your like? Don't give me your most fucked up thought that goes through your head before a PR, because again, like give us like light canceled light, not fully. There's no way that I'm the only one who's like.
No, of course I do. I'm just trying to think. I'm trying to think of ones that I can say out loud without feeling shame.
Fair.
Yeah.
Sean's just like,
it's
not a fees bomb.
I always have petty fake arguments in my head.
Same.
Like really meaningless fake. Like I imagine scenarios where someone cuts me off and we pull to the side and I say something really witty and I'm just like so mild, and that's how like petty I am.
Yeah.
And so I guess I think of that. I go back to like a lot of car business stuff.
Yeah.
Clients or customers that thought they knew everything. Yep. They were the smartest person on the planet. They knew everything about the car. Or they'd be like, the thing that always pissed me off the most is when clients would be like, do you know how many cars I've bought in my life? I hear that shit and I'd be like, I wanted to jump across the table.
The number I've sold today?
Yeah,
probably.
Exactly. 100%. So, like, just like things that kind of just annoy the fuck out of me. Yeah. You know, just kind of ramp me up a little bit.
I start fake beef for sure. Like, did you watch The Last Dance?
No.
Okay, there's a scene where Jordan's talking about how he went up to this reporter, right, and tells the reporter that some other player on another team was talking shit about him. He gives him a quote. Yeah. The guy never said that. Jordan created it in his own head, told the reporter, and the quote gets blasted everywhere. And Jordan did it on purpose to give himself more motivation for the game. So by game time, he's seeing this every newspaper, radio, TV station, everywhere, and he's convinced himself that the guy actually said it.
Dude, that's insane.
The guy never talked shit. Jordan just said to piss himself off, and he admitted it after the game. That's me in the gym, though. I'm sitting there like, this motherfucker. Did you see what he looked at me? Yeah. He thinks I can't squat this.
Yeah. Just pick your fights with the smallest guy. This piece of shit.
Well, see, I used to have to do that, but then I train here now, and everyone's a freak. So
yeah.
Now this dude's way stronger than me.
Definitely. Yeah, I think that's part of it. I think there's some ego for sure. Like, you know, especially being a coach, you kind of just have to make sure, you know, you're the top, even though I'm not. Like, but you have to carry that energy. Yep. You know, that mentality of like, I might not lift the most, but I'm going to lift it the cleanest. Right. I'm going to execute it the best. Right. And
take pride in what you're doing.
Exactly. Yeah. And I'm only going to cry a little bit if I fail. Just a little. But mostly I'm actually a pretty calm lifter overall.
You are.
I used to force it a lot when I was like younger. Yeah. And then I realized I just feel kind of dumb, like just yelling and screaming. Yeah. But now as I've gotten mature, now I kind of realize what works for me. I'm actually pretty calm before I get under the bar. So I try to be able to.
I still have like I said, like that 30 seconds. Yeah. Kind of controlled aggression right before I hit a top set. Yeah. But I used to, when I was like a teenager, try to just be like that for the whole 2 hours locked in. And it's like, that's just not sustainable, man.
I used to just have the mentality of like, well, here we go, you know. But now I have a lot more confidence, right? Now that I've kind of understood, like I've just broken so many like plateaus. And like, all right, I got this. Yeah. Yeah. You know, but
I think you can probably relate to it a lot, kind of saying that you got started lifting because you didn't like how you looked. Yeah. I think for most people, though, it starts from a very negative place of like, I don't like myself and I need to change something.
100%.
But that motivation runs out quick. Yeah. Like, as soon as you get to like a neutral spot, even, what are you still doing it for? Right? And it has to then become something positive.
Exactly. And that's exactly what happened. I lost a bunch of weight. I lost like 30 pounds in like, I don't know, like 5 months or something like that. And then, but by then it was just like, after seeing myself just add weight onto the bar, 5 pounds, turn, you know, and I'm just seeing the progress I was making, and just like, all of a sudden, like, not going to the gym wasn't an option. Like, it was this thing where, like, I have to train today. Like, it wasn't, if I didn't train today, I had to make it up tomorrow. Like, I started, like, reworking my schedule around. Like, it became, like, ingrained into my daily life at that point. So,
and why do you think that was so important to you, where you wouldn't miss it no matter what? Why was that such
just the dopamine rush of hitting a PR, you know, just like finally benching 2 plates, you know, just like, you know, it's stereotypical, it's kind of cliche, but it was a huge deal. You know, like once you finally hit that, you're like, holy shit, like, all right, we're making some progress. For the first time I squatted 3 plates, and all right, when are we getting to 4? When are we getting to 5? You know, like, just, you know, I would feel really good about it for like 10 minutes, and then immediately be like, okay, like, what's the next PR? You know? And that was this constant chase, chasing the dragon. I'm never really going to be fully satisfied, but it's that pursuit of hopefully hitting a weight that I feel happy with. at some point.
Definitely, yeah.
I still feel that even now,
Yeah, and I think that's usually the stage for most people. It's a negative kind of view of themselves, and it becomes, chasing the dragon, like you said. It's kind of the second stage, and then I think where I've kind of gotten to now, where that progress becomes so slow, just from so many years of training, is like, you really fall in love with the journey, right? The pursuit is what's beautiful.
Exactly.
It's for me, I'm always someone who is looking to control things and panics when things are out of my control, right? And I don't like not having that guaranteed, like, inputted effort equal to output, right? And in life, things don't go that way. Like with business in the gym, with relationships, with whatever in the world, like, it's not guaranteed,
right?
But training is, right? Like, the progress might slow and there might be less output, but like, you will get something positive out of training. Be it mental, a physical change, a strength gain, whatever it is, right? There is a positive outcome. And so for me, it's like knowing that I did something to make myself better today, I'm good. Right? If I don't hit a PR, but I come in, I trained hard, I made myself better. Cool. Now, work's going to be stressful. I got this deal with that deal. Cool. I did something already that helps me better myself. I'm good. I'm in a much better spot to be able to handle those things.
That's exactly.
Huge.
And
that's
so
much more mental than physical.
It's kind of spread throughout other aspects of my life because, like, I love this job and, like, maybe I shouldn't admit this to my general manager, but there are days where I'm like, am I really getting paid for this? Like, I feel like I need to be doing more.
I ask myself that.
Like, I feel like I need to be. I need more clients. I need more prospects because, like, there are these downtimes, and, like, maybe that's something I need to work out. We're like, okay, maybe appreciate the downtime, but I think something about having this constant work in the gym has kind of spread to other aspects. Like, we're like, well, all right, like, what else am I doing? What else am I working on? Like, and just constant. I think
it's like we're so locked in on trying to optimize, our training. That it's like, it feels dumb not to pay that same amount of attention to other aspects of your life.
It's kind of hard to just, like, relax and. Unless there's a beer in my head. That's probably what it is.
That is.
I think the beer is
okay, let's get into the real nitty gritty then. What is the secret? We need a patented term for John's method, but...
Alcoholism,
and then...
Well, you had some success with it.
I had a solid 3 weeks of drinking and then the next day PRing. That was it. The fourth week did not go that way. So
it's been like 3 months for me.
Alcoholism is the key to your strength, dude.
It started with Johnny and Tiff's wedding. When I had, like...
It was so long.
I know. I had like 20 whiskey sours that day. I had like 20 whiskey sours, and then we kept drinking at the bar after. And then I remember thinking to myself, like, fuck, man, I'm so screwed on Monday for my heavy squat. And then I came in, I PR'd. I was like, okay, sick, that's cool. And then literally every Friday, Saturday... Just find it. It's okay. So you know how, like, a lot of athletes. I'm not gonna call myself an athlete, but you know how, like, a lot of professional athletes are superstitious. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they're like super superstitious, right? Like, they always have their ritual. It's getting to the point where I feel like if I don't drink, I'm not gonna PR.
So what's the plan for the next meet, dude?
Get fucked up. I need to.
Everyone else back to chugging Pedialyte and John's just 6-pack.
I got a tall boy Modelo.
Dude.
I want to black out in the middle of my meet.
I mean, it seems like it's...
I want to wake up the next morning and be like, what happened? It's like,
actually,
dude, you qualified for that.
You never trained drunk, right? You're training hungover. So you have to black out the next
So how it works is I get fucked up, I'm hungover Sunday, and then by Monday I'm recovered. So I'm okay by Monday. I'm a little tired. Maybe I'm still tasting the puke on my breath a little bit. But, I don't know, man. I really don't fucking know.
I think, as much as we're joking, well, okay, we're not. You've actually made that promise. But we know that that's not, like, some crazy secret. I think there is something to it in terms of relaxing and not trying to panic and squeeze and control everything. I think a lot of athletes do that. And you'll probably, realistically, you probably will lock in a little more as you get closer to a meet. And stop drinking the day before every single.
Locking in is drinking more.
Okay, you're right. Let me rephrase. Realistically, most people probably should stop drinking as they get closer to a meet. But I think there is something just about, like, you're going to show up and train no matter how you feel. And you're also not going to let training stop you from living your life. there's someone who said if you're able to make your livelihood off of your own training
Right.
and not coaching, right?
Yeah.
Or when certain spots in your life when you're really kind of dialing in for it. But I think for too long, like I've definitely let powerlifting as many opportunities as it's given me. I've definitely let it limit others by, oh no, I can't hang out, I can't do that, I can't. I need to be ready to train. And there's a balance, right? I'm not saying like drink every night. Who cares how it affects your training, unless you're drunk. But like, there's a balance, right? And that leads to a lot more long-term success instead of burnout. We see so many athletes that are young burn out quick because powerlifting is getting so popular. Like collegiate nationals are huge, dude. And every college gym has a powerlifting area now when that wasn't a thing. When powerlifting teams in college, that wasn't a thing, at least on the West Coast where we are, was not a thing a couple of years ago, right?
Yeah.
And so many of these kids, right, if you're not allowed to relax and drink and go have fun in college because you're like, I gotta lock in, and then you get out and you're like, I'm gonna keep training, and then you lose the powerlifting team that you were a part of. You get a real job. You're already burnt out. Like, I think that's where a lot of people fall off. So having that kind of more longer term approach, tends to benefit a little bit more.
100%. Just like I feel like so many people put so much pressure on themselves. They see them making themselves progress and they get hooked on this. Of course, I did too. But man, like once you put that much pressure on yourself, it's not fun anymore. And I guess I kind of experienced that when I did my meet, when I cut down to 82, and I just felt like all my strength kind of losing, and it was kind of an immature way to look at it because obviously you're going to get weak when you're losing like 20 pounds, right? But I just was so married to my numbers, and then I completely shit the bed at that meet, and so I think that was a learning lesson. Just get over it, just cruise a little bit. That's why it took a little while between that meet and this meet coming up. And just cruise, man. Just enjoy it and just enjoy the process, enjoy the training. And I think that kind of mental relaxation has definitely helped a lot. And just not getting so caught up in the small pictures. You gotta be willing to zoom out a little bit.
Exactly.
And I think especially with powerlifting, you're not on a team. You can kind of just show up whenever you want for your own training, and it's all on you, right? So I think that added pressure of you don't have a teammate screaming at your face or a coach screaming in your face to do better. You kind of have to put that pressure. So the kind of people that are attracted to powerlifting put so much pressure on themselves already because they have to show up. They're the ones who have to show up. Right? They don't have a team that needs them there or whatever. And so because they already are, what's I'm looking for, susceptible to putting themselves under such high pressure, I think it kind of exacerbates as you continue to grow as a powerlifter.
Definitely. And especially in a sport where everyone has kind of this quick fix solution. It's very rigid what we're trying to improve, and everyone's trying to get better at the same thing. So it's not like, I just compared it to football earlier, so we'll use a different sport. It's not like even like MMA, right? Where it's like these professional athletes, some are really focusing on the striking because they have a wrestling background, some are working with this coach and that coach, and they all have multiple coaches helping out with different areas of their game, or even football, right? Where they do have all the different positional coaches and then team practices. There's not all these things, so the rigidity is almost makes you feel like you're never doing enough, right? Because it's so okay, well, that guy's stronger than me. What is he doing? It doesn't necessarily mean it needs to be what you're doing, but because the goal is so objective and finite, you want to take that jump. And I think it causes a lot of us to just be completely neurotic.
Exactly. And it's so visually easy to see your progress to 1 rep, to 2 reps, to 3 reps, to 4 reps. Maybe you squat 170 for the first time. You get 3 reps on each side. We'll just add a 4th. Right? How hard can that be?
And it's not like another sport where it's my numbers were better last year than this year, and you can go, well, I was on a better team. The teams we were playing against weren't as good, right? The weight's the same. Yeah, exactly. And so that puts a lot of pressure. It's why wasn't I as strong as I was last meet or whatever? It's man, there's just so many factors. And so in my experience, I've dealt with a lot of clients, but especially with myself, dude. Stress is what kills me. My performance will tank because I'm stressed about my performance. I spend so much time thinking about
it's like a vicious cycle.
So bad. And for me, my stomach gets really bad when I'm stressed, and so then I'm stressed out. I don't eat. I know I feel like shit. I feel like shit, so I'm stressed and I feel like shit, and I flip, and it's that endless cycle, right? And it's if I just fucking relax,
just have a beer,
and then go squat. It probably would be better for me. Again, we love to bash Kanji on this podcast, and don't worry, I'll get back to bashing Westside next podcast. Don't kill me if you like Westside. You guys scare me. I love you, and I wish it worked better for me. Doesn't work very well for me, but it's fun. But man, those dudes were all on all kinds of drugs, all kinds of drinks, all kinds of steroids as well. Maybe that camps out a little bit, but like it was just live life fast, hard, aggressive, and fucking send it, right?
I feel like you had to be a convict. In the early days.
And if you weren't, you would be if you hung out long enough. Those dudes are nuts, right? And again, there's a lot of things that I'm like, ooh, I'm definitely not going to take that training methodology from them. But some of the just like, fuck it, I'm just going to train hard and send it.
You need a little bit of that. You need a little bit. I have so many clients where I have to just like, all of their lifts look exactly the same. They'll call it RPE, and I'm like, bro, it looks like you're warming up. Like, just throw some more weight on the bar, please. And then they just get nervous, they get scared. You got to be a little crazy. I'd rather have a client that's a little crazy that can pull back than a client that's not willing to kind of push themselves. So, you know, because I'll give them a number that I think is an 8, and they're like, you know, I went a little lighter today, I just wasn't sure it was there. God damn it, just put the weight on the bar.
With my coach, I know, like, whatever my program says, he knows I'm going 5 kilos over that number, and he knew that when he wrote it, so it's all good. I can go 5 kilos over, right? Because I'm always going to do it. But then there's other clients where it's the exact opposite, right? Where I write this range, and I'm like, they're picking the bottom of the range. The top number of mine is completely irrelevant, but if I make it big enough, then they'll feel more safe doing the bottom.
Exactly. 100%.
That's all mine needs.
Exactly. So, I mean, but, you know, if they're getting what they want out of their training, I guess that's all that matters.
Like you said, though, I think that limits a lot of people from getting into it, both coming in here, being intimidated, just seeing, you know, some of the monsters in here with this crazy weight, or this thought that they have to train super hard every single day. A lot of people, I think, are still concerned that you have to max out all the time in powerlifting, or even if you're not maxing out, it's just like, you know, come in and we're going to go RPE 10 on RPE 10 triple or whatever it is. And really, I do think powerlifting is one of like the most sustainable
100%
sports to kind of train and live a real normal life with.
And it has like the lowest injury rate of like all sports out there. So it's like people see all these crazy back injuries and stuff, but it's just like it's actually incredibly tame compared to like cheerleading, you know?
Or even like playing pickup basketball at like a local park. Or how many people tear their ACL doing something like that?
Exactly.
Like a torn ACL doesn't really happen very often in powerlifting because you're in control of all your movement. Right?
Exactly.
We have one of Sebastian's clients, Ed, who is
he's like 90, right?
I want to say so, right? Ed, if we're off there, I'm so sorry. You're the best, but you look like you're 40.
I think he stopped counting after 80.
I think so.
I think you're like, I'm just old as fuck.
Like he's in here and he's you know, he's adjusting.
He was deadlifting yesterday. I was like, what the hell?
Stronger, man. And he loves it. And it's like, you know, he's probably not going to be able to do as much weight as he could at one point in his life, but like he's still in here trying. You can continue to adjust, and powerlifting kind of grow with you on that journey, right? The amount of days he trains maybe drops off, so he has a little more flexibility, and he takes time off to go on vacations with his grandkids and stuff like that. But he's making it work, and I think that's a really cool thing about it. Where a lot of people see it at first is, oh, that's crazy.
Exactly. I think the best part is like Seb even had to like hold Ed back. Like I think every new lifter like wants to just push, even though he's like 90 years old.
That's awesome.
And Seb had to be like, let's relax here. You know. It's just like everyone just wants to put all the weight on the bar, which again, like you kind of have to have a little bit of that in you. But I just think it's cool that no matter what age, he just wants to push.
Just in here. It's so cool to see, man. And I think there's a lot of that now. It's I know that used to be huge with like trying to get girls to be, you know, women to understand like it's okay, you're not gonna get bulky.
I know.
And now, dude, the women we have in here are like, they train harder than I do, man. They're some of them are getting crazy strong, and it's so cool to see that. And they all train. A lot of them train together and kind of motivate each other. It's really cool to see that
I just think women are more honest with their training than men. I think it's easier to coach a woman simply because they're more honest with their training and they're better at communicating. You know,
that's fair.
Just in general.
Dude, we don't want to admit anything. We're not mentally stable enough to be like, this was hard. I'm not that strong.
It's like a freaking. I've done it plenty of times with Tim. Like it was like clearly like a fucking RPE 9.5. It was like a 6.
Like 6.
A little slow, but it was fine.
Dude,
you know,
and, like biologically, a lot of women can handle more volume, and they don't bitch about it. They don't talk shit. They don't complain. It's just go. Dude, they can handle way more and just work hard.
I would say that
so cool
the clients that are the most vocal in terms of just like always having some issues with their training predominantly are more men than women. I feel like women are just like, I think this felt weird, and like they're like
I'll throw another red on.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I don't know. I just it's like men and women are different or something. We're really groundbreaking material here.
John's gonna get a chance to that one again, too. Yeah, though I do think that's definitely cool to see, like, age and gender and all these things become less of a like limiting factor of barrier to entry. I think 100%. A lot of people are getting into it more. Yeah. And your kind of role as sales, you deal with that first interaction, sometimes in the first convention. What are some of the other things that people really kind of are like panicked about, and reasons why they think maybe it's not for them?
So, I mean, a lot of the times they just kind of give me bullshit, they'll say like, oh, I just got to think about it. Like, oh, what do you got to think about? Like, well, I'm looking at the best is when like they're looking at other gyms. I'm like, oh, what other gyms are you looking at? I'm like, I actually can't remember the name. Like, one time I called one guy. I was like, man, if you can't remember the name of the gym, it probably ain't worth you checking out. And
this is why I'm a car salesman, dude.
And he kind of laughed, and he kind of laughed it off, and I knew he wasn't going to sign right then and there. But like, I was just like, what are you even thinking about? Like, I just think it's the commitment more than anything else. It's like they see how hard everyone trains, and I just think mentally they might not be ready to commit that hard to something. Because like sometimes it's the opposite, where they fully commit, they do the 12-month master plan nutrition, and then they train like twice a week. It's like sometimes it's the opposite, where they think they can and they're not even close. So I think it's just they just feel like maybe they have imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
Commitment, kind of. Yeah, exactly. Well, very rarely do they ever give me a super concrete response. Yeah. It's very just kind of washy. I try to kind of pull something out of them.
Yeah.
But they I just got to think about it. I'm not quite sure, blah, blah, blah. More than anything, I just think they see just how the intensity of this environment, and in such a way that people are really motivated and want to commit as much energy as they can to accomplish the best that they can. And I think that might just intimidate some people,
Yeah.
They think they want it, and then once they see it, they're like, ooh, this might be. I don't know. Like, so, very rarely do I ever get a very solid... I mean, other than just them, like, not fully understanding what powerlifting is. I've had a couple of people think it was a weightlifting gym.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I really want to focus on the snatch and the clean and jerk. I'm like, yep, that's not us. And that's about it, though. I mean, it's just really more of a mental thing than anything else.
I think so, too. I think anyone can train with like a powerlifting methodology, but not everyone's built to be a powerlifter.
Right.
Not everyone's built to me, a powerlifter is someone who competes, but even if you want to say, train hard and set gym PRs, whatever it is, not everyone mentally is kind of ready for that. But I do think there's the barrier to entry is much lower than people think, and the barrier to success and actually reaching that kind of next level is much higher than people think. I think a lot of people get their feet wet and then, cool, 6 months from now I'll have an elite total. And it's like, no, you won't. No, you won't.
Yeah. No, that's a good way to put it. It's easy to pick up. It's hard to master for sure. And that might be it. Maybe they just need a safer environment like 24-hour or like Crunch or whatever. Which, hey, whatever gets them moving. I just think having some, if you really care about it, and if you really want to accomplish something, having a little extra help with a coach and just putting yourself in the right environment is going to be a better recipe than not.
Definitely. I think. A huge part of it is like coach, right? People are worried about safety. Mm-hmm. Coach, cool. That's one of the safest you can get. And then the other part is people are worried that they're not going to fit in here, right? With people who are so far advanced or care so much, train so hard. But I mean, I think those people care about other safety more than anyone. Like people volunteer to spot them. I mean, I've seen dudes that have records in here spot someone squatting 135, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Not a question.
Right.
And I think they're also so focused on their own training that they probably don't notice whatever else is going on, right? That's how they progress so far, whereas at a commercial gym, it's much more of like that show off, everyone's judging everyone. Whereas here, it's like everyone knows they're on their own program, let them do their thing. I think the last part is like, the people who made it far started in the worst spot. Right? So you look at like, you saying you wanted to lose 30 pounds. Dude, I remember getting pinned under an empty barbell at 24-hour fitness, right? I started training, I'm like 200 pounds now. I was a $125, same height. Like skin and bones. Dude.
If you turn sideways, you disappear.
Literally. I was tiny. And like I hated it. So I think we all are so like in touch with where we were at when we started. And that's what motivates us so strongly. That there's no pressure or judgment when someone comes in and starting.
Exactly.
Like, man, you're just waking up to how awesome this is going to be. Like, I can't wait to see that person reach that point.
100%. I feel like, a lot of the prospects you're getting are people who just started training, have been training for maybe a couple months, and it's so funny seeing, because it's exactly like you said, like, man, they don't understand how to hinge, right? They don't understand certain movements, and like, it's gonna be so awesome when you get it.
Yes.
It's gonna be so freaking cool when you figure this out. Like,
exactly. And
like, I'm excited for them.
Yeah, and there's so many little wins that I enjoy seeing with new clients along the way of like them understanding the technique, learning how to hinge, all that comes so much before there's any actual like massive PRs or physique changes.
Yeah.
It's like once they get just grooving where they're not overthinking every bit of technique, but it's just routine.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Then you see them start making friends in the gym.
Yeah.
That means like the world to me.
Yeah.
This is my whole community.
Yeah.
This is my life.
Exactly.
Like, you're part of the family, right? Like, I love that moment. And then when they do hit that first kind of PR, even if they're like, I know it's not much. It's like, no, dude.
Yeah.
I remember the first time I squatted 135.
Exactly.
I was so fucking happy, right?
Yeah,
like,
100%.
That's a ton.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's cool to see people start to build that sense of pride in themselves in their training and have those breakthroughs way before they ever step foot on a platform.
Exactly. Yeah, for me, it's when something clicks. Like I remember one of my clients finally figured out slack pull. Their hips would always shoot up early, and I would just like tell them every.
Teach me.
And I would just tell them, give them all these different examples. I was at home. I was watching them on True Coach. They finally did it. I literally clapped my hands. I jumped up in the air. I was like, yes! Yeah. I gave them a loom video. I was like so happy.
Yeah.
I was like, you finally. And then literally the next lift session, you forgot. But for that one moment, you got it. Yeah. Just do that again.
Yeah.
But yeah, just even, again, when something clicks or when you've been hammering away, and when they care, like they're always leaving me feedback, like I'm trying to work on it, I'm just not quite getting this or that. And when they finally hit it, it's a very rewarding feeling.
It is.
So
it is.
Yeah. Because like you said, like the first time I figured something out, like it just felt like the coolest thing in the world for me. So sharing that with another client is pretty cool.
It's awesome, man. Yeah. It's awesome. And that's why I'm really kind of glad we have you in that role. I think you're one of the definitely most welcoming people here to get someone welcome in the community and then get them going.
It's the stash.
They
see it and they're like, how could I say no?
Yeah. They're like, I gotta say yes, or else this guy, he's got that pedophile stuff.
We gotta have a mini fridge in here. Yeah. We gotta have a mini fridge in here so I can crack open a beer with them when they sign up. All right, celebratory beer.
Dude, what about it? Like the way, like a timeshare presentation when someone signs, they like bring out champagne and the bottle service. I'm just have John with the bottle when someone signs up for a membership.
Nothing says starting your journey to health
like champagne.
And cracking open a cold.
Dude,
one.
I remember. We'll wrap this up, but I remember the old days. We were at our second location, way smaller. I was trying to pitch someone who was looking to lose weight for powerlifting, and they were kind of unsure if this is like the right methodology of training for them, right, as they're kind of coming in and lifting heavy, I thought I was supposed to do cardio. I'm like, no, you can lose weight through lifting, it'll be great, and you said you like lifting more, this will be the perfect fit for you. And we walk in, there's 3 dozen donuts on the table on a Saturday morning, 3 different people have brought donuts. I'm like, so you can eat those, you can have fun, but you don't have to.
Yeah.
Anyway, if you'll continue following me, and we get to the Gatorade fridge, and at that time we had, don't do this now members, but at that time we had a Friday night crew that would come in and get trashed and deadlift.
Hell yeah.
Like every Friday night.
Let's go.
But they never coordinated who would bring beer. So every Saturday morning there'd be extra beer, and all of the Gatorade in the fridge was replaced with PBRs.
I feel like I joined at the wrong time.
Yeah, you did. No, you trained early, dude. Yeah. You probably came in to train like an hour after they left.
No.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. Chris McKenna and Dan Howard, all those guys, man. And we'd come in, I'm like, so yeah, you can lose weight, and there's just beer and donuts. You can lose weight or you can have fun. Right. Whatever you...
maybe not at the same time.
Yeah.
But just know that we cater to everyone.
Yeah, it was a different time in SoCal.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was funny to see the...
Now look how professional we are.
Professional. Sometimes. We've only said like 10 bad things on this podcast.
I mean, I was expecting more, to be honest. I'm a little disappointed.
Episode 2, yeah, no, I think the goal of this episode is to get the controversy going, right? So we get our numbers up, we get trending.
There we go.
And then we get full canceled next time around.
Beautiful.
Cool.
Okay.
All right.
Should I talk about the Jews, or should I...
Jenna actually... All right, guys, tune in next time to watch John get fully canceled, and that's it.